Welcome to the NCAA Softball Championship Selection Special, presented by Capital One.
We are on the road to the Women's College World Series in Oklahoma City, and there you see the big board with all the watch parties going on around the country. We're going to check in on reactions as we unveil the field of 64. 64 teams with a dream of competing in the postseason and heading to Oklahoma City in the Women's College World Series to try and bring that right there home for their trophy case. It is time for the NCAA Softball Selection Special. All right, looking forward to that as we get set for the regionals next weekend. 64 teams at 16 sites, that's double elimination. Then on to the Supers, 16 teams at 8 sites going head-to-head best 2 of 3, and we send 8 teams to the Women's College World Series. Tonight, we unveil in seed order, starting with the number 1 regional all the way through to the number 16 regional. So it is time to find out who hosts and who hits the road. Here we go, jumping right in. The overall number 1 seed in the field, the Texas Longhorns, regular season champions from the Big 12 at the Austin Regional. They will be home in McCombs Field, and they are loving it because this is the first time in school history they've got that number 1 seed. They will open up against the Siena Saints on Friday afternoon. First time into the tournament for the Metro Atlantic champions, and 33 wins, the best year in school history, led by Jocelyn Ulrich and Alyssa Emont. Way to go, Siena. Who else is headed to the Austin Regional? How about the red flash of St. Francis? NEC champs with a 40-win season. They'll play Friday night on ESPN Plus against the Northwestern Wildcats. How about that? The regular season champs in the Big 10 and the Big 12 together in the same region. They led the conference this year in home runs and ERA, with slugger Kansas Robinson leading the charge. So, Smitty, that's how the Austin Regional looks, led by Texas.
Yeah, this Texas team is so strong. They've got a great offense. They've got the ability to hit for power as well as speed. 3 hitters over 400. Mia Scott, Ashton Maloney, Reese Atwood, they can just smash the ball. 82 stolen bases as a team. And how about 5 amazing arms in the circle? A very complete Texas Longhorn team.
All right, fill that in the upper left part of your bracket. We're going to go down to the lower right for the number 2 seed in the tournament. The Oklahoma Sooners, the 3-time defending national champs, will be home at Loves Field for the Norman Regional, and they'll get underway Friday night on ESPNU, going for an 8th national championship under Patty Gasso's direction with that championship mindset. And they will play Friday night against the Vikings of Cleveland State. They won the Horizon League championship earlier today with their 2-way star, Melissa Hosefeld. Also, heading to the Norman Regional, the Terriers of Boston University, Patriot League champs, riding a 26-game unbeaten streak. They haven't lost since April 2nd. They're heading back to Norman for the 2nd time in their postseason history, led by Casey Ricard, their star pitcher. They're in action Friday night at 5:30 against the Oregon Ducks out of the Pac-12, and a reunion of former OU assistant Melissa Lombardi. They head to town, led by Kai Lushar and Ariel Carlson. So the Pac-12 and the Big 12 getting together in that one, Jess, at Loves Field.
Well, you're talking about the most successful senior class in Division I history, and they got 10 of them. They're led on their pitching staff with Kelly Maxwell, and they've got 5 in their lineup in Coleman, Jennings, Hanson, Boone, and Brito. They lead the way. They're going to hit you, outscore you. That's what they've done all season long, and what makes this team unique is how much their offense has led their team.
All right, we're going to stay on the right side of your bracket with the number 3 overall seed, and it's the regular season champions of the Southeastern Conference, the Tennessee Lady Vols, staying at home at Sherry Parker Lee Stadium in Knoxville with Kiki Malloy and Boo Gibson and that outstanding pitching staff led by Coach of the Year Karen Weekly. They will be at home hosting as the number 3 seed Friday afternoon on ESPN Plus against a first-timer. Welcome to the Dayton Flyers, champions of the A-10. Don't look past their pitchers either. They did not allow a single run en route to that A-10 championship. Emma Shooter, Maddie Kapsamalis, two of their top stars. Who else is heading to Knoxville? How about the Red Hawks of Miami? So we got really good pitchers, and now we got really good home run hitters. They could set single-season records as a team and as a hitter with Carly Spade. Lot of bang for the buck for the Red Hawks. They will open up Friday at noon Eastern on ESPN Plus against the Virginia Cavaliers. Wahoo for the Wahoos. They're back in the tournament for the first time since 2010 as an at-large. There you go, ladies. Out of the ACC, led by Jade Hilton, their slugger. So there's a look, Amanda, at that Knoxville Regional led by UT.
Yeah, and Tennessee has one of the best 1-2 punches in the circle with the SEC Pitcher of the Year, Carlin Pickens and Peyton Gottschall, who easily also could have been SEC Pitcher of the Year. And they can hit the long ball, too. I mean, they have an absolute star in center field and as their leadoff hitter in Kiki Malloy. And then don't sleep on the power of Zeta Pooney and Riley West. This team can pack some punch. One of the best home run hitting teams in the country, not 1-2 punch, with Pickens and Gottschall especially.
Back over to the left side of your bracket, we've seen two from the Big 12. How about two from the SEC? The 4 seed with a massive finish to the regular season and the SEC tournament. We're going to Gainesville with the Florida Gators, and they will open up Friday at noon Eastern at Katie Seashore Presley Stadium. 9-1 in their last 10 games, all against ranked opponents. They will open up against the Eagles of Florida Gulf Coast, the ASUN champs. How about Neely Peterson with the walk-off home run in extra innings in the final to seal the deal? Who else will be in the Gainesville Regional? The Owls of Florida Atlantic, an at-large out of the American. They were the top scoring team in that conference. Hug it out, ladies, led by their two-way star, Trinity Schlotterbeck. And they will open up this double elimination format in Gainesville Friday afternoon on ESPN Plus against the Jaguars of South Alabama out of the Sun Belt. Look out. They have 3 wins on their resume against the SEC, led by their 20-game winner, Olivia Lackey, and their basher, Mackenzie Brasher. Smitty, they're all headed to Gainesville with Florida.
Yeah, and Florida is one of those teams that has been trending up. They have been just outstanding at the end of the year. SEC tournament champions, Skylar Wallace and company doing it all. Corby Otis, Kendra Falby. How about this year's SEC Player of the Year and Jocelyn Erickson? This team puts up a ton of runs. 2 really good freshman pitcher, and Rothrock and Brown doing it in the circle for the Gators.
All right, that's a look at Florida. How about the number 5 overall seed? And what a season for the Big 12. It continues into the postseason because it's Oklahoma State at Cowgirls Stadium Friday night. Kenny Gajewski's club will try and get back to the World Series for a 5th year in a row, led by the Big 12 Pitcher of the Year, Lexi Kilfoyle. They also took the Bedlam Series during the regular season. How about Friday night against the Bears of Northern Colorado? The first game in this double elimination format, they win the Big Sky back-to-back. Amelie Morales, we saw that, the 10th inning grand slam to win their tournament. Who else is going to Stillwater? How about the Big Ten tournament champs? The 2005 national champs. The Michigan Wolverines return to the postseason, led by their tournament MVP, Lauren Durkowski, Kiki Thole, and Ellie Seiler at the plate. The Wolverines are back in the postseason, and they have a showdown Friday afternoon on ESPN2 against the Kentucky Wildcats out of the SEC with Aaron Koffel, Riley Smith, and Stephanie Schoonover. Lovely night in Big Blue Country there for the Cats. And that is a tough matchup there in Cowgirl Country, Jess.
Yeah, and they are led in the circle for those Pokes. Lexi Kilfoyle, what she's done. Big 12 Pitcher of the Year, 1.14 ERA. That's 4th best in the country. Only 18 extra base hits allowed all season long. And on the reverse, Caroline Wong leads the team in every offensive category. But keep your eye on their stud freshman, Carly Godwin. You talked about them winning Bedlam. She was leading the way, 32 RBIs with runners in scoring position.
Don't forget, the top 8 seeds, if they win their regional, they stay home for the Super Regional. Will that be the case for the 6th seed overall? The UCLA Bruins hosting the Los Angeles Regional in Easton Stadium, gunning for a 13th national championship. They have reached the World Series 31 times in 41 years. Led by Charlize Palacio and Maya Brady and company, they open up Friday night, 8:30 Eastern on Plus against the Lopes of Grand Canyon, winners of a 3rd consecutive WAC championship and a school record 48 wins. Find your purpose and find your way to LA, ladies, because that's where you're headed to open up with the Bruins. Also, in Southern California, well, San Diego State gets to stay close to home. The Mountain West champs and their star hitter, Mac Barbara. They got a couple of wins against Power 5 teams, and they led their league in ERA this year as well. San Diego State going to open up Friday night on ESPNU against the Hokies of Virginia Tech, and at-large from the ACC, and a chance they could go back to UCLA for a super regional. Oh, there's some oohs and ahs there in Blacksburg. Okay. They're going to pack some wallop because they have 6 hitters with double-digit dingers, led by Corey McMillan and Michelle Chatfield, and an outstanding pitch combo, too. Amanda, going to be a lot of fun out in L.A.
It looks like it. This UCLA team has gotten stronger as the season has gone on, led by Maya Brady, who's back-to-back Pac-12 Player of the Year. She has been a leader. And how clutch has Charlize Palacios been late in the season? Megan Grant, Jordan Woolery are now sophomores, and they're adding so much offense. And Taylor Tinsley, Caitlin Terry, those two go back and forth together, beat up a lot of innings for UCLA.
All right, there's a lot of nail-biting going on. We've only got 2 potential super hosts left. The number 7 seed, the Missouri Tigers, at home at Mizzou Softball Stadium for the Columbia Regional after they had a terrific run all the way to the SEC Tournament Finals with an outstanding pitching staff. They are partying in Como. They will open up against the Summit League champions on Friday night, the Mavericks of Omaha, and tournament MVP Cameron Mayer for the 2nd year in a row. Way to go, Mavs. Also headed to Columbia, an at-large out of the Big Ten Conference. It's the Hoosiers of Indiana. They led the Big Ten this year in batting average, runs scored, and slug with Avery Parker. Indiana gonna open up against a Pac-12 foe. Friday afternoon, it's the Washington Huskies, led by national team head coach Heather Tarr and champions in 2009, Alana Johnson, Riley Holtorf, and Brooke Nelson leading the way there, Smitty, as those 4 will be in Mizzou.
Yeah, Missouri really goes as their circle goes. They've got some great arms, ability to move the ball around. Lauren Krings is just stellar in the circle. Marissa McCann, the freshman, has a really good changeup. Sierra Harrison, you just name it, they've got great arms in the circle, but they also have senior leadership in Jenna Lard, Alatonald, and Maddie Gallagher. And oh, by the way, don't forget about the freshman over at first base, Abby Hay. She can swing it as well. This is a really complete Tiger team.
All right, here we go with the last one. You win, you stay home for the Supers, and you enjoy the lovely weather in the Bay Area at the Stanford Regional Smith Stadium in Palo Alto. The 8th seed is the Stanford Cardinal, a World Series team last year led by Nigeri Kennedy. Yeah, that's right. They're partying it up because they know if they win, they get to stay. They're going to start their road to the World Series with the Gales of St. Mary's on Friday afternoon. Remember, this is all double elimination format, 3 days over the weekend. Champs of the West Coast Conference. Also, the Big West champions, the Titans of Cal State Fullerton, another former national champ in the field, led by Haley Rainey and Stacey Chambers. They are celebrating out on the West Coast, and they are also celebrating in SEC country because they get another team in. It's the Bulldogs of Mississippi State, led by slugger Madison Kennedy, and they will play Fullerton Friday night at Stanford, Amanda, where the Cardinal will have the home field advantage.
And Stanford has one of the most electric pitchers in all of college softball, and Nigeri Kennedy. We saw her last year at the World Series as a freshman. She's a sophomore now. And Reagan Krause is a 20-game winner for Stanford to add depth to that pitching staff alongside Nyjah Kennedy. Ali Kaneshiro catches those pitchers as a Gold Glove winner and has a great offense with 10 home runs, which leads the team. Taryn Curd, an amazing addition, along with Ava Gall and Jade Berry to round out their offense. Nyjah Kennedy, though, is definitely one of the pitchers to watch.
All right, there are your top 8 seeds for the tournament. NCAA regional play gets underway on Friday around the country. And Texas, for the first time, the overall #1 seed. A big start for the Big 12, as well as the SEC and Pac-12. Those teams, remember, they win their regional, they would stay home and host the Super 75% of the time. We've already revealed a handful of former national champions who have the trophy. Who might be next? Perhaps it's time for a first-timer to break through and win it. Perhaps it will be the overall #9 seed in this year's tournament as we unveil the Baton Rouge Regional, home of the LSU Tigers at Tiger Park, Friday night at 6 Eastern. On the SEC Network, led by Sydney Berzon and Taylor Pleasance. In their 18th consecutive NCAA tournament, they will open up against the Tigers of Jackson State, the SWAC champs, who steal more bases than any other team in America, led by Jace Jackson. Also, headed to the Baton Rouge Regional, the Salukis of Southern Illinois, Mattia Groff, their lefty freshman, spectacular in the circle. And they too are jumping for joy out of the Missouri Valley. They will start play Friday afternoon on ESPN Plus against the Cal Bears. There's another former national champ with their home run hitters, Elon Butler, Tiana Bell, Lagi Quiroga in their 35th NCAA tournament, Jess. And it starts with the 9 seed LSU.
It does. And before we talk about LSU, you know we're going to talk about some outfield defense. They showed it off at the SEC tournament. All kinds of plays they were making. They are led by their pitching, though. Sydney Berzon and Kelly Lynch. Sydney, in fact, went 14 innings pitched, 208 pitches. That was 1 game. And Taylor Pleasance, you mentioned it. The senior-led team, her bat got going. 2 game-winning hits in that tournament. She hit .375.
Double elimination format, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Those are the folks in the Baton Rouge Regional. Back over to the right side of your bracket, filling in it at home. How about the Durham Regional? And the Duke Blue Devils, they get a 10 seed after sweeping the ACC regular season and postseason tournament. With an outstanding pitching staff, they are looking to get to the World Series for the first time in school history with their Player of the Year, Claire Davidson. They will start Friday afternoon on ESPN Plus against the Bears of Morgan State, the MEAC champs, with Victoria Fletcher and Amber Rivas. So the Bears going to Durham. So are the Utes of Utah. Out of the Pac-12, they reached the finals again this year in the postseason tournament. They were at the World Series a year ago, led by pitcher Mariah Lopez. And for the Utes, Friday, noon Eastern, there'll be an early start for them on the U against the Gamecocks of South Carolina, an at-large out of the SEC with Elena Vaughter, Riley Glampede, and Nia Black. The Gamecocks will be battle-tested out of the Southeastern Conference, Amanda, as they head to Duke to see the Blue Devils.
And this Duke team is really well balanced. When you look at their stats, they can hit, they can pitch, and they can defend. They're up at the tops and national ranks in all of those categories. But Jayla Wright and Cassidy Curd, now they're one of those best 1-2 punches that you can talk about. And the season that Claire Davidson has put together, you mentioned the ACC Player of the Year, 61 RBI, 17 home runs, hitting over 400.
There is a look at your Durham Regional with Duke, the 10 seed. How about the 11 seed and a team that puts dogs into bulldogs? We're going to Georgia, where they love to jack at the jack. Athens Regional features Georgia, an at-large out of the SEC, looking for a 6th trip to the Women's College World Series, top 10 in the nation in home runs hit this year. Friday night, 5:30 Eastern on ESPN Plus against the Seahawks of UNC Wilmington, the Coastal Athletic Champs. Seahawks are dancing for the second time. A seventh-inning comeback win in the final. Their MVP, Kara Hammock, in the circle. Also going to Athens, the Conference USA champs, the Liberty Flames, with Rachel Roop and Megan Fortner. Savannah Jessie with the walk-off double in the ninth inning to win it in extras in the conference final. Way to go to the Flames. And they will be taking on the Charlotte 49ers. Friday, 3:30 Eastern, out of the American Athletic Conference, led by slugger Ariana Rhodey. How about Rhodey with 20 homers and 50 RBI on the season? She'll try and bat Jess with the Bulldogs.
How about them dogs and the way they swing the bats? That's what they're known for, those apogee swings. And they have been led by the bats of Jada Kearney, who has been clutch. 417 with runners in scoring position. 43% of her hits have been extra base hits, including 59 career home runs. Sarah Mosley also with the big bat, 17 home runs in 3 consecutive seasons. Their home run to fly ball ratio, by the way, best in the country. You are going to see some long balls out there.
That's going to be a lot of fun to watch as we move from the Dogs to the Hogs, the number 12 seed in the tournament from Arkansas, hosting the Fayetteville Regional at Bogle Park. NCAA top 10 defensive team this year as the SEC gets another host. And who will the Razorbacks open up with Friday night? How about the Red Hawks of Southeast Missouri State, champions of the Ohio Valley, led by Abigail Rickerman, their top hitter. I think she's only struck out 5 times all season. Dang. They're going to start out with Arkansas on Friday. Who else is going to Fayetteville? How about the Big East champs, the Villanova Wildcats, their 3rd NCAA in 4 years. Allie Jones, 2 dingers to win the Big East final. And for Villanova, they will open up Friday at 6 Eastern on ESPN Plus against the 8-time national champion Arizona Wildcats. Welcome back to the Cats out of the Pac-12 with freshman Reagan Shockey and 20-game winner Aisa Silva Michelle. They're all headed to Arkansas.
Yeah, and this is an Arkansas team that really can grip it and rip it. They've got great arms in the circle, and Morgan Linestock, outstanding drop ball. Robin Heron from the left side, really good rise ball. They've got that outstanding defense that you talked about that. And then when it comes to the long ball, they've got Hannah Gamble, 12 home runs, a great third baseman. Bree Ellis, really good pickup, transferring over from Auburn, 14 home runs, a .326 batting average. This is a very good Arkansas team that plays well at home.
Yeah, we're going to hear from Kurt McGuffin, the chair, a little bit later on in the show, because now things get interesting. These last 4 seeds that will be regional hosts. Let's move on to number 13, Louisiana, with the Lafayette Regional at Yvette Girard Field. A 25th consecutive trip to the NCAA tournament out of the Sun Belt Conference, looking for a 7th trip to the Women's College World Series. They love it down there in Lafayette, and they're going to have a packed house Friday night against the Princeton Tigers, champions of the Ivy League, led by Sonia Jong and Lauren Sabloni. There you go, Ivy. 13th NCAA tournament for Princeton. Heading down to Cajun country. A little bit closer to home and a shorter trip for the Ole Miss Rebels at large out of the SEC. A team a lot of folks thought might be on the bubble. They are in, led by Lexi Brady and Ainsley Flairbush. The Rebels will open up Friday night on ESPN2 against the Baylor Bears out of the Big 12 and their big hitter, Shaylee Govan. They have a win, by the way, already on the resume against Louisiana as they head back to the NCAA tournament for the 16th time. Jess may run into Louisiana again.
Oh, they will, because those raging Cajuns, they got the good mix of speed, some grit, of course, that power. Speed, 81 stolen bases, led by Maya Davis, that .416 batting average, 24 infield hits. And in the tournament, Victoria Valdez got hot. Some big home runs from her. Brooke Elistad, a .569 slugging percentage. Their offense leads their way in Louisiana.
All right, continuing to fill in your bracket, we're going to go back to the right side, and for the second year in a row, this is going to get tongues wagging because the 14th seed is the Alabama Crimson Tide. Another SEC school gets to host the Tuscaloosa Regional, and they will be rocking at the Rhodes House as they try and get back to the Women's College World Series for the 15th time and get a second national championship. Who does the Tide start out with? Friday afternoon on ESPN+. It's the Spartans of USC Upstate, Big South champs, and they've got speed to burn. They're going to try and run those bases and run them often against the Tide. Also headed to T-Town, the Lady Lions of Southeastern Louisiana. First-timers get into the tournament as champions of the Southland. Lexi Johnson, one of the weekend stars, a 3-run walk-off home run in the final. Loud and proud, ladies. That's the way to do it. They, by the way, have wins over the SEC, ACC, and Big Ten this year. They're going to see another ACC school Friday afternoon because it's the Clemson Tigers. Double elimination format, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from Tuscaloosa. They have the reigning National Player of the Year in Valerie Cagle. And Alabama stays home again, Smitty, as a 14 seed.
Well, and that is key because Alabama and the Rhodes House, one of the toughest places to play ball. And it's all about Kayla Beaver in the circle. 161 innings pitched, 162 strikeouts on the year, a sub-2 ERA. So when she can keep the ball in the park, she has just been outstanding. And it's got to be the boppers for Alabama to get some runs up on the board. Kenley Cahalan, Abby Dukeshire, when they put runs up on the board for Beaver, these are some really tough Crimson Tides to beat.
All right, that's a former national champ at 14. How about another former national champ at 15? The Florida State Seminoles are staying home in Tallahassee at the Seminoles Softball Complex with Coach Lonnie Alameda. Champs in 2018, they have reached the championship series twice in the last 3 years. This is a team that knows the road and how to get there. They will start out on the ACC network Friday afternoon against the Mocs of Chattanooga, SoCon champs, led by their power hitter, Caddy Phillips. They led the SoCon in scoring and also in ERA. And they are headed to Tallahassee. Who else is going to be in town? How about another SEC at-large, the Auburn Tigers, and their ace pitcher, Maddie Penta. Handful of big wins on the resume. They're going to take on the UCF Knights out of the Big 12, led by Janisha Rowe. And the fourth consecutive time for the Knights getting into the field. They are having a good time in Orlando. Thataway. All right, so there you go. FSU, Chattanooga, Auburn, and UCF. And it starts, Amanda, with the Noles.
Well, the Noles start with their offense. Top 10 scoring team. They have a top 10 batting average in the nation. And Jason E. Beecham, a freshman, a name you need to know, she leads their offense in batting average, home run, and RBI. And also Issa Torres, another freshman that is added to this offense. And don't forget, they still have the leaders and the veterans of Devin Flaherty, Kaylee Mudge, and Kaylee Harding, who have felt like they've been there forever. They bring that experience piece to the Noles.
All double elimination format all weekend long. So the drama building for that final home team, that final seed. And we're going to stay with our national championship theme. It is the Texas A&M Aggies at the Bryan College Station Regional. Gonna have some fun at Davis Diamond with Coach Tricia Ford, the two-time NCAA national champs, outstanding with a third-place finish this year in the SEC. They're gonna start play Friday night on ESPN Plus against the UAlbany Great Danes, champions of the America East, and in the field for the very first time. Wendy Hammond was the pitcher of the year in that conference. We only have two teams left, only two more getting into the field. And one of them is the Nittany Lions of Penn State out of the Big Ten with their outstanding right-hander, Bridget Namath. Caitlin Morrison, Maddie Gordon. Woo! Sweating it out in Happy Valley. Get over to the creamery, ladies, and get some of that ice cream. You deserve it. Speaking of sweating, one last spot. This is it. Who's going to get it? And play Penn State Friday afternoon on ESPNU. Get ready to go. Bobcats of Texas State, you made it. As Sun Belt champions with ace Jessica Mullins, Sarah Vanderford, Hannah Earls. Texas State made it as they won their conference championship. They do, Smitty, have a win against A&M this year, but this one is the Aggies' home field.
Yeah, and we know that those Farmers can fight. They've had a really good year. Emily Kennedy has been strong in the circle. 183 strikeouts for Kennedy. But how about this team batting average? A .306 batting average. They've got 69 stolen bases. Coco Woolley, Trinity Canyon with 15 home runs. Allie Enright with 10 home runs. Trisha Ford just doing an outstanding job in her second year. These Farmers, well, they're, Amanda, these Aggies, they're tough, and I know that you love that.
That's at the Bryan College Station Regional. So there you go, the 16 seeds, the field of 64. All 13 SEC teams get in. Big 12 gets 3 of the top 5 seeds. The last 4 in, Indiana, Ole Miss, Penn State, UCF. The first 4 out, BYU, Louisville, Texas Tech, and Wichita State. We're going to hear from the committee chair coming up in a little bit, but we want to hear from our experts first. We'll go around the horn again. Jess, start with you. Your